Hello, everybody. My name is Walter, 34 years old. I am originally from Ecuador, grew up in Switzerland, and now I am living in Dubai. And today I'm gonna talk to you about my experience with Vipassana meditation in noble silence, which I learned in Chiang Mai, Thailand. A lot of people have asked me about my experience there, so I decided to make a video which I can share with everybody who's interested. Okay, so first of all, let's start with what is Vipassana. Vipassana is a Pali word which means seeing clearly, seeing the truth, seeing the true nature of reality. Now, if you ask what is truth, that is not something that can be explained or taught. This is something that can only be experienced by yourself. As you might heard the saying, "Thou shalt find the truth, and the truth shall set you free," or "Blessed are they who have a pure heart, for they shall see God," or the truth. That's the whole idea of Vipassana. Through learning these techniques and through this experience should allow you to experience, see, and understand the truth of yourself, of our nature, and of reality, which, as mentioned, cannot be taught or explained, can only be experienced by yourself. But that is the idea of these Vipassana meditation techniques. So before we get into the techniques of what I actually did, first a couple of information. So I did it in this temple called Wat Pratan Si Chom Tong Vora Virham Temple in Chiang Mai, which is like a bit an hour away from the center of Chiang Mai, of the city. I basically arrived there around midday. You meet the trainer. He teaches you the technique, and then you go on your own to practice. You meet with him once a day, quickly, 10-15 minutes, so you can share with him the experience, and then he can correct you or guide you or coach you to improve or tweak little things, do things differently. But apart from those 10-15 minutes with your coach, you're not supposed to be speaking. It is done in noble silence. There are a lot of people there as well learning these techniques, but you're not supposed to be greeting them or talking or getting involved in discussions. So when you see them, basically, you're not meant to really have eye contact or greet each other. It is purely a noble silence retreat. So you are with yourself. You don't speak apart from those 10-15 minutes with the trainer. You don't read, you don't have any so-called entertainment like music, dancing, singing, exercise, yoga, books, any distraction of your mind is completely ignored. You don't do those things. You also only eat twice a day, once at 6 in the morning and the other one at 11, a light meal. After 11, you're not supposed to be eating anymore any solid food. You can have water anytime. You can have, apparently in the afternoon, something like a juice or yogurt or an ice cream, but actual solid food you don't. You wake up at 4 in the morning to start your practice. Breakfast at 6, you practice again, lunch at 11, and then you practice again all the way till 9-10 p.m. and then you're in bed again. Lights are off. There's a couple of rules that you agree when you enter this temple. You don't kill anybody or anything, and that involves, of course, humans, but also animals. That means you do not kill insects, and that was one of the challenges, because in this time of the year when I went in December, it's not hot, but there's still a lot of mosquitoes, so you're not supposed to kill them or use repellents that will harm them, and that was one of the challenges. When you sleep, when mosquitoes come, you don't kill them. So that's one of the things that you agree with. You don't kill anybody or anything or any animal. You don't speak, but if you speak, you don't speak negative words or lies. You're not involved in any kind of sexual interaction with others or with yourself at all. You are also sleeping in a floor bed, so there's like no luxury. It's a very simple kind of a floor yoga mat, thick yoga mat. They give you, of course, a cushion and some blankets. It gets very cold, especially at 4 in the morning, but you are supposed to relinquish from any kind of luxury. So you sleep in a very simple floor bed. The room you stay in by yourself is very small, like 3 times 4 meters, so like 12 square meters. There's a shared bathroom, a shared shower. So it's very simple. The food is also very simple. There's a vegetarian and non-vegetarian options, but it's like plain soup with vegetables, or at lunch there's like rice with a few vegetables and fruit. So it's very simple. So there's a certain rules that you agree with. You wear white most of the time, and as mentioned, you don't speak. The whole idea of all these rules is to help you get away from any distractions from the outside world, from the external focus. The entire idea is to get into a space where you go within yourself, where you experience, you become aware, and you're mindful of your thoughts and feelings, of your body, and of your true nature, so to say. In the normal lives, as you may know, we're constantly distracted. We wake up, we look at our phones, we work, we're in front of television, computers, we talk to people, we're eating always good food that tastes good. We are getting entertained, we're dancing, we're singing, we're talking, we're partying, we're doing exercise. All of these things are basically the thought behind is distractions of our mind, distractions of our body, which doesn't allow us to get in touch with ourselves, with our true nature, with our thoughts, with our feelings. Most of the time when we feel sad, we kind of going through down moments, we not really acknowledge it or feel it fully. We either try to ignore it or distract ourselves by food, by alcohol, parties, cigarettes, or any kind of distraction. So the whole idea of going to this environment is getting rid of these distractions so you can feel your feelings fully, feel your thoughts fully, become aware of what you're really thinking, feeling deep within yourselves, no distractions. So it's about getting to know yourself. That is part of the experience. So that's basically it. You once you settle in, you do the practices. You have this trainer that he teaches the techniques, and you can speak to him. And it's a very nice environment. It's a very peaceful, calm. It's a good energy. It's like right in the mountains, lots of greenery. There's a lake. You can walk outside, yes. But that's basically it. It's a very simple place. There's temples where you can see and visit. But that's basically it. It's a very simple place, and it's all about going within, not without. So there's not a lot of entertainment. It's all about spending time with yourself. So that is with the logistics. What I liked about this place is that you could start at any time you want. Usually with the other Vipassana meditations I looked online, like Goenka, which are all over the world, you start at a certain date, certain time with a lot of people, and you had to stay for 5-10 days retreat. So it's like a set course where the coach teaches everybody and then sends it out on your own to start training. What I liked about this temple where I went in Chiang Mai is that you could come at any time, start at any time, at any day, and it's individualized teaching, because we all come from different levels of so to say, spiritual growth and awareness. So the coach really teaches you where you need to be, where you're at, and he coaches you individually. So that is something that I really liked about this place. And the fact that I could stay, I could arrive anytime I wanted, I could leave at any time, is also that I liked, because it gave me the flexibility, as I didn't know how long I could stay there and when I would arrive. So that was really good about them. And this individual teaching was great as well, because every day you would talk to him, and then you could explain your experience, and then you can individually tell you to do things better, differently, or just coach you specifically for you. So that's really good. What about this Chiang Mai temple that I went? Okay, so that's it. So now I'm going to talk about the actual technique, what I learned, and after I'll talk quickly about my breakthroughs, what I sort of took with me, why I did it, what I liked and what I didn't like. Okay, so the actual Vipassana technique. Most of the most popular techniques, as mentioned, the Goenka, when I was reading online and looking at videos, is that you sit for 10 hours a day, and basically you sit and you focus on your breath. You focus on your breath first here, and then the awareness of your breath keeps on getting bigger and bigger until you're fully aware of your body. If you need to scratch, or if it's itchy, or if you're painful, if you're hungry, you just feel it, recognize it, you don't react to it, you just fully acknowledge it. And at least that is what I heard, what I read about this Goenka, the most popular one, Vipassana techniques. The one I learned, which is the different one, which is apparently called intensive form of Mahasi Sayadaw technique. It's a different type of technique than the most popular ones. And what I liked about this one is it's not just about sitting. It does have sitting, but it also has a walking meditation, a prayer meditation, certain postures, and then a sitting meditation. So that's what I like. It's a bit different. Okay, so about the technique. You start off by making a prayer, so to say. You're opening your practice by going on your knees, you're bending down, and you're not really praying to any deity or God, like, because Buddha never really talked about a creator. He only talked about nirvana, about the unity and the oneness of all things. But when you pray, you're just getting into a state of gratitude. You're thanking basically Buddha for the messenger, for the wisdom he brought to the world, and for the community he created, this beautiful, peaceful, compassionate community he created around the world. So you start off by going on your knees and bending down 3 times and just thanking Buddha, the messenger. You're thanking for the wisdom that he has given us, and you thank the community that has been created through these techniques and this wisdom he has given us. A peaceful, kind, and compassionate community. So that's how you start. And then there's these 3 steps to this Vipassana technique. The first step is you start with your hands on top of your knees. So you're basically on your knees and your hands are on top of your legs. And you don't focus on your breath, you don't look at your hands, you're basically just very relaxed, looking in front of you. And you start moving your hand very slowly, and as you move your hand, you repeat 3 times, turning, turning, turning. So as your hand is on top of your leg, you say turning, turning, turning. And then you say rising, rising, rising. You raise your hand. And you say touching, touching, touching. Your hands touch your heart. Then you do the same with the left hand on top of your leg. Turning, turning, turning. Rising, rising, rising. Touching, touching, touching. Then rising, rising, rising. Touching, touching, touching. Then lowering, lowering, lowering. Touching, touching, touching. And then you lean forward and you say bending, bending, bending. And then you do the same with moving your hands to the floor. Say lowering, 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 touching, 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 turning, turning, turning. Then you do the same with the left. Lowering, 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 touching, 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 turning, turning, turning. And once your hands are flat in the floor, you go down and you bend, bending, bending, bending. You head to the top of your hands. And once you stay there for a few seconds, then you rise up again, rising, 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 and then your hands turning, 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 rising, 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 touching, 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 then your left, turning, 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 rising, 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 touching, touching, touching. And you do that 3 times. That's the first step. The whole idea is that you have your eyes open, you don't look at your hands, you don't focus on your breath, you just look forward, and you're getting basically into a state of mindfulness where you're fully aware of what you're doing. Usually when we move, we pray, we dance, or we do sports, we're doing it, our body's moving, but we're not aware of the movements. Either we're thinking in the past or in the future, or we're thinking about other things. But these postures or these movements of the body, and you being fully aware of these movements, you're getting into a state of unity with your thoughts, your feelings, and your body. Similar to yoga, but you're not doing any complicated postures. It's just basically moving your hands, moving your body forward, and just becoming fully aware of your movements. And as you do this, you start, at least I did, when I was doing it, I started to become unified with my body. I was thinking, I was aware, I was breathing, but these movements, so to say, brought me into a state of mindfulness, awareness, and calmness. I was getting very, so to say, in touch with my body, with the movements, with the present. So kind of like Tai Chi, Qigong, where you move and you're fully aware of the movements. This is also similar, but you're getting into this prayer pose and you're aware of what you're doing and how you're moving. So that is, so to say, like the first step, getting warmed up for the other 2 steps. But it was really good. I really like these postures, these movements, these prayer positions, while being fully aware of what you're moving. You're not just moving your hands without being aware. You're fully aware of how your hands are moving, how you're turning, just the hands, and then going forward 3 times, and then you do that. The second step is a walking meditation. And this I also really liked. It was a mind-blowing experience, because so basically you stand, and then again you say standing, standing, standing. And by the way, the reason why you pronounce the word 3 times, because apparently according to them, it takes the brain 3 times. It takes the brain 3 times in order to become fully aware of what it's doing. So when you say moving, 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 only then when you become fully aware and mindful of your movements, and then you're really fully in the present. So as you're standing and you say standing, 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 you really become fully aware that you're standing. And then you move your hands in front of your stomach. You say moving, moving, moving. Then you say holding, holding, holding. The right hand holds the left hand. Then you go into your stomach, touching, touching, touching. And you stay there. You're fully aware of your movements and that you're standing. And then you say in your mind, intention to walk, intention to walk, intention to walk. And then you move first your right foot. You say lifting, lifting, lifting slowly. And then when you put your feet down, putting, putting, putting. Then you put your foot down. Then with the left, lifting, lifting, lifting. Then you put your foot down, putting, putting, putting. That's 1 step. And then you continue. Now in this walking meditation, again, you're not fully focused on your breath, you're not fully focused on your movements, you're just aware, you're just acknowledging, you're just mindful of the present. And by repeating every movement 3 times, it's helping you get more in touch with the present and being mindful. When you read about books about being the present, being mindful, it's easier said than done. But once I've learned that once you actually repeat it 3 times, whatever you're doing, you really get into present, you really become in the moment. So that is what has helped a lot. Now, as you're doing this walking meditation, most likely you're gonna start thinking, you're gonna start feeling, and that's okay. And that is the beauty of this practice, is that you're not supposed to walk without any thoughts, without any feelings, or just fully focus on your breath and your movements, because that requires too much effort. that is too much focus, that's too much energy on one thing. And the whole idea of doing all of this is becoming fully aware, mindful, and recognize everything that is happening within you or outside of you. Meaning, if you're feeling hungry, you stop from the walking and you just say to yourself, feeling, feeling, feeling. Or you say, hungry, hungry, hungry. You fully acknowledge the fact that you're hungry, and that's okay. And then you feel thirsty. You say, thirsty, thirsty, thirsty. Then you feel some pain on your neck and on your back. You say, hurting, hurting, hurting. Or feeling, feeling, feeling. Then you hear a noise, a dog barking. Then you say, listening, listening, listening. Or dog barking, dog barking, dog barking. And then you continue with your steps. And then you hear another noise. Then you stop and you say, listening, listening, listening. Then you start maybe thinking about the future. Then you just become aware of the thought and you say, planning, planning, planning. Or thinking, thinking, thinking. Maybe you start thinking about the past. Then you just say to yourself, remembering, remembering, remembering. Or regretting, regretting, regretting. And then you continue walking, lifting, lifting, putting. And then when you feel that you have a new sensation, you just stop. You say stopping, stopping, stopping. And then you become fully aware of what is happening in that moment. Either you're feeling sad, you just say sadness, sadness, sadness. Or you're feeling happiness in that moment, suddenly you feel happiness, happiness, happiness. Or feeling, feeling, feeling. Basically anything. That's the beauty of this. It's not about visualizing or focusing on your breath or just trying to clear your mind of no thoughts. It's exactly the opposite. Easy does it. The law of least effort. Very relaxed, not too tense, and not trying to be like a robot. Fully relaxed, but becoming just mindful, aware, and recognizing anything that comes through your mind, thoughts, feelings, pictures, or any noise, anything you see, anything you hear, anything you feel in your body, just fully recognizing it and taking some time, taking seconds to fully acknowledge that feeling, thought, sound, or anything that comes, and repeating it 3 times. Once you repeat it 3 times, then is when it becomes, when you're fully aware of that moment. And the experience when I was doing it, all my senses became suddenly so intense. I became aware of noises that before, when I was not focusing on these techniques, suddenly I was like, oh, there's actually this noise over there and this other noise. There were like about 5-6 different noises that were there the whole time, but I was just not aware of them. Only when I got into the state of mindful walking is that I became aware of these noises. Like, oh, there's a sound there. And I was like listening, listening, listening. There's a motorcycle passing by. There's this car, there's people talking. There's this fan noise. There is the trees moving. There's this wind. It just became, my senses became more intense. Like I was so much more aware of all the noises. I was so much more aware of the things in the room, things I didn't notice before. Suddenly I saw there's actually a statue that I didn't see it before. Or there's this color that I didn't realize. So everything is just becoming suddenly more aware. And there was no thought that would escape from me. I was just fully focused, and I could become I was fully aware of every thought that was coming through my mind. My mind was so sharp. Every thought that would come, I would recognize it, and the next one will come. So that was a really beautiful experience. I mean, I'm not saying it's something that is going to be into a state of happiness, of joy, of love. It's anything you feel, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, within you or outside you, in your body. It's just fully becoming aware of what you're feeling, thinking, and living them fully. And that was the second step, which is really good, because you become so much more aware of thoughts, of feelings that you were not aware before. So you start to become an observer of yourself. So that's the second part. And you do this for around 20 minutes, 10 to 20 minutes. You start with 10, but as you move through the practice, then you do it 20, 10, 30, 40 minutes, and so forth. So the first step, the postures, takes you about like 5-10 minutes. The walking can take you 10 to 20 minutes. And then suddenly you stop the walking. So you say stopping, stopping, stopping. And then about to stop the walking meditation, you just basically take your hands and say moving, 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 standing, standing, standing. Good. And then you go into the third and last step, which is the sitting meditation. And you continue in this walking technique meditation. Basically, you don't just suddenly start moving without becoming aware. You just say intention to sit, intention to sit, intention to sit. And then you become aware how your hand is going down, how you're sitting, how you're crossing your legs, how you're putting your back straight. And then you relax. You relax, and finally in this third step, you actually do close your eyes. In the first one with the postures, and in the second one with the hands, with the walking, and it's always with the eyes open. In the third step is where you do it with your eyes closed. You get into a lotus position or just cross your legs, straight backs very comfortably, and you close your eyes. Now by the time you get to this third step, you're already going to be into a state of awareness, of alerted mindfulness. You're going to be so aware of every thought, feeling, noise, anything within you or outside of you. So by the time you get to this sitting meditation, you're already going to be in a state of mindfulness. But now in the beauty, when you start closing your eyes, you don't focus on your breath, because that is too much effort, too much focus on one thing, and you're not becoming mindful, aware of other things which are going on. So don't focus on your breath. You breathe normally. You don't count. You don't try to clear your thoughts. You don't try to stop thinking. You don't try to do anything. You kind of sit back, relax, and just become the observer of yourself. So in the sitting meditation, all you do is just observe the movement of your breath. You don't even observe your breath. You observe how your stomach rises and falls, because every time you breathe in, your stomach kind of rises. Then you breathe out, your stomach falls. So you say again 3 times, rising, 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 falling, falling, falling. You breathe in, rising, 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 and then you breathe out, falling, falling, falling. Becoming fully aware of the movement of your stomach because of your breath. And here at the same time, like in the walking, with the eyes closed, if there's any thought, just say thinking, thinking, thinking. You're hungry, say hungry, hungry, hungry. If you're feeling thirsty, 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 thirsty. If you're feeling hot, just say hot, 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 or feeling, feeling, feeling. If you start thinking about the past, just thinking, thinking, thinking. About the future, planning, planning, planning. Just any thought that comes, acknowledge it, observe it, label it, because once you label it 3 times, it's a way for your brain to become fully aware of it. If you don't label it, if you don't repeat it 3 times, it's just passing through you without you becoming aware, being mindful. So that's the idea of doing it 3 times, is just becoming fully aware of what's happening. And that's basically it. You do that for 20 minutes. You don't try to go into a sleepy state or a theta state of mind. You are just fully aware, fully conscious. And even if you do start to fall asleep, that's okay. You just say sleepy, 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 or tired, tired, tired. And then you come back to the movement of your breath. And most likely in this technique, you will start getting lots of thoughts. Like, for example, why am I here? This is so boring. Why am I doing this to myself? Who brought me here? I should never come back. I should leave. I should go. Lots of thoughts. Oh, what am I going to do tomorrow? What am I going to do next week? Oh, I should have said this. I should have done that. Lots and lots and lots of thoughts. And that's okay. That's all right. That's the beauty of these techniques. You're not supposed to be getting rid of those thoughts. They're part of you. That monkey mind, so-called, the monkey mind that likes to talk, that chatter, that barking, It's okay, it's part of us. This is not about getting rid of that part or calming it down or trying to switch it off. It's about becoming aware of it. You just become aware, thinking, planning, regretting. Anything that comes through your mind, anything you feel, happiness, sadness, anything. If your body's hurting, itching, you don't move. You just become aware of it. If your leg is hurting, if you want to scratch, you just become aware of it and you realize that nothing is permanent and those feelings go away. Thoughts come and go, feelings come and go, pain comes and goes, the feeling of needing to scratch comes and goes, the idea or the thought that this is boring comes and goes, and you will start to become the observer, the awareness of yourself. It's like being in a motorway and you see cars passing by. It's the same in this point. You start to see how your thoughts come and go, your feelings come and go, the sensations of your body come and go, and all the mind objects or visions or any kind of ideas come and go. And that's the whole beauty of this technique. You're not forcing anything, you're not focusing anything, you're just becoming fully aware. So that's basically the Vipassana technique that I learned. You do this, basically takes you, the prayer, the postures, the walking meditation, and then the sitting meditation. Probably can take you about 40 to 60 minutes. And you do that, then you take a break, 10-15 minutes, and then you do it again. Take 15 minutes and you do it again and again. And as mentioned at the beginning, you wake up at 4 in the morning to practice. You do it until it's breakfast 6 in the morning. Then once you finish breakfast, you do keep on practicing from 7 until 11. You practice, take a break, practice, take a break. You go for lunch at 11 in the morning until 12. And in the afternoon, you practice, breaks. In the afternoon, you can take longer breaks. You can maybe go for a normal walk. And by normal walking means that walking very slowly, as in the walking meditation. You can still walk normally, but as well mindfully. For example, you can say left, right when you're walking. You don't have to say walking, rising, putting, because it will take you too long to walk in that way. You're walking normally, but mindfully, aware. Left, right, thinking, feeling, observing birds, trees, floor, people, anything that comes into your awareness within or externally, you're just fully aware of it. You take a longer break and then you come back and you continue practicing in the rooms available. So that's basically the day. You do this again and again every day. People who have been doing this for months or for years, technique doesn't really change much. You're still doing the postures, the prayers, the sitting and the walking meditation. What changes through time, at least what I've heard, is the experience of it. Eventually, the idea is that you're starting to see clearly. As mentioned, Vipassana, the word means seeing clearly, seeing the true nature of reality. You do these techniques with steps, but eventually, at some point, you should start to become aware of who you truly are, of the true nature of things, of the true reality, which means you are not your body. You have a body, but you are not your body. It's like being in a car. When you're in a car, you can drive, you can move it around, but you are not the car. You are a spiritual being in a physical body having a human experience. But that doesn't mean you are a body. You're in the car, but you're not the car. You have a body, you're in the body, but you're not your body. As well, you are not your thoughts. And this is something that eventually you realize. You are not your thoughts, you are not your feelings. And if you think you're a bundle of thoughts and feelings, take a moment to just, for the moment, pause and tell me what is the next thought that you will have. You cannot know what the next thoughts are going to come. You cannot control your thoughts. Thoughts come and go. You observe your thoughts. And how can you be the object being observed and the observer? If you are able to observe your thoughts, you are not your thoughts, because you are the ones observing your thoughts. You are the witness, the observer, the awareness of consciousness. And as mentioned, this is something that can be explained or taught. This is something you can only experience for yourself. And this is something that I experienced already before, but even more intensely with this Vipassana meditation, that I am not a body, I have a body. I am not thoughts, I am not feelings. I have thoughts, I have feelings, but I can observe them. I am not that object being observed and the observer at the same time. I am the awareness of consciousness. I am the awareness of thoughts and feelings. So the more you do this practice, the more you realize how you are, as mentioned, not your thoughts. And as you realize this, many of our thoughts are really pointless. You think about it. We tend to think too much, worry too much, regret too much. The monkey mind, the chatter. Most of our problems exist in our minds. Most of the problems that we have never really exist or happened. We tend to think what could happen, what could go wrong, what I should have said, what I should have done, what might happen if I don't do this, or what if I try something and this doesn't happen, or maybe these people might not like me, might not accept it, it might not work. There's just a lot of chat, there's a lot of thought going on within our minds, and takes away our sleep, our energy, our peace of mind. And when you realize that you are not these thoughts, you can just observe them and not get drawn into them or get pulled into it, because then you get into a spiral circle where you think and think and think, but it goes on and on and on. At some point you acknowledge the thought, that's okay, you observe it and it goes away. You're not trying to suppress it or to push it away or to try to forget about it, because they're there and they're part of you, but they're not you. So they come and go. Feelings, happiness, sadness, love, hate, they come and go. And that's the beauty of this practice. You realize that nothing is permanent, like a flow of river. And Buddha, when he was teaching, he was not trying to, so to say, end suffering or pain. He said that pain comes from attachment. The moment we get attached to people, things, objects that give us pleasure, and when they go away or when the things end, is what causes pain and suffering. But the whole idea is to relinquish this attachment to these good feelings, to these people or objects that make us feel good. We let go of this attachment and we fully embrace the river of life, which means that will bring us things and take them away, being that people, objects, feelings. So the point is about stepping back and observing all of this without getting attached to anything or anyone, to any feeling, but just observing the thought, observing the feeling. And even if you're feeling down, you're not feeling happy, that's okay. You just feel it fully, because the feelings of, so to say, sadness, negativity, hatred, darkness are actually the ones that help us appreciate and feel the beauty, the positivity. Because how can you experience what peace is if you've never gone through war? How can you experience what happiness is if you've never gone through sadness? Imagine in a movie a hero without a villain. The hero without a villain is just another character. The hero needs a villain in order to be a hero. So the villain is created there for a reason and a purpose. If you've never gone through war, how do you know what peace is? If you've always had sun every day, how can you know what sun is? Only when you go through darkness, through a storm, will you realize how beauty is the calmness and the light. So this is my experience, this is my understanding, as you have to make your own. But for me, the whole idea of Vipassana, this meditation, is to help you just become more aware of yourself, more aware of your thoughts, of your feelings, of your body, of your sensations, and through everything that surrounds you, and becoming the observer and trying to relinquish from this attachment to these external or internal things, but just becoming the awareness of consciousness and realizing that that is your true nature. That is who you truly are. This awareness, which is not limited to physical reality, it's infinite. So yeah, anyhow, that is what I learned, that is what I experienced, and I really enjoyed it. I did it because I wanted to challenge myself. I've already been practicing yoga meditation for quite some time. I've been learning a lot of spiritual modalities. But when I heard about this Vipassana meditation, Noble Silence, I was intrigued by it. I was very interested and I wanted to experience it. And I did it, and I'm glad I did it. I only did it for a few days, like 4 or 5 days. People do it for 10, 30, 45 days, or even years. But I think that what I needed to experience, that what I needed to learn, I did. And that's why I didn't continue longer. I could have done it. I mean, the food or the silence or the bed was something I got used to, and I was actually quite okay with it. But I just, that what I needed to experience and what I needed to learn, I did, and that was it. So, but I highly encourage anybody to do it. It's truly a life changing experience. It depends on the stage where you're in. Because if you just go, most likely, when if it's the first time that you are going to be spending time with your inner self, most likely there's going to be a lot of childhood issues, traumas, past lives, or um, past experiences, resentment, regrets, grudges are going to come up, and you will deal with it. You will have to go through it fully. I've been already over a year working on myself through different techniques like theta healing, hypnotherapy, Reiki, and access bars. So I've started to already clear myself. So that's why when I went to this meditation, to this Vipassana, I was already kind of clear of a lot of those things that will usually come up for people who don't usually spend a lot of time with themselves. There is no cost per se for this Vipassana course. It's on donations only. So at the end of the course, you can voluntarily give anything you want for the food, and you also have to separately for the actual course. So you give from your heart, you give from your intention. Anything you put in an envelope, they don't know how much you give, so it's just up to you how much you want to give to cover for the cost, for the trainers, for the food. So that's it. So I really liked it. Why I did it is because it interested me. I wanted to learn more about techniques, about myself, about experience, that I could do this in silence. So I did it, and I'm glad I did it. As I mentioned, what I learned a lot more is about myself, about being more mindful, becoming more aware of the truth of things, of who we really are, and also since I'm becoming more aware of my thoughts, I'm able to now not get too much involved with all this chatter and the monkey mind going in my head. I'm able to just see them through, and as all this noise gets, so to say, calmer, you are able to observe yourself more within your heart. And that is for me the secret or the key to get in touch with your intuition, with your gut feeling, with that inner source of infinite creativity, energy, intelligence, power, love, wisdom. All the great inventions have come up from within someone. And that source of inventions, of ideas, of amazing ideas, of art, of music, are within us. And it's within every single person. And everybody has access to this source of creativity, energy, intelligence, and bright ideas. And the moment we learn how to calm that monkey mind in our head, that constant chatter, we're able to purify our hearts, and we're able to go deep within ourselves. We are tapping into this infinite source of feelings, of love, of compassion, of unity, of clarity, of truth, of wisdom. So to say, the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven is within, home is within. This energy field, the connection to this energy field that surrounds us, that creates, gives shapes to the universe, is within us. The heart, your intuition, is the key to this energy field, to this source, infinite source, to connect to our creator, so to say, which were never really separated. It's like a drop of water suddenly becomes aware that it's part of the ocean. The drop of water is there, but is now part of the ocean, is becoming the ocean, is the ocean, and was never really separated. It just had the illusion or the perception of being separated from everything else, but is actually is, was, and always will be part of the entire ocean. As the same with us, we were never really separated from one another or from the creator. We were always and always will be, and we are always connected at one. But we have this illusion of separation of time and space, that once we're able to transcend it, we realize how we're connected to one another. We are one, all humanity, animals, plants, the world, the universe, God. And this truth, this clarity, this oneness, this connectiveness, once you become aware of it and you realize of this consciousness, you will not be able to harm anybody, hurt, cheat, lie, covet, be jealous, wish negative things. You will naturally, by nature, by this awareness, become more compassionate, loving, caring, giving, generous, merciful. It's not all these masters that have walked the earth have talked about this, loving your neighbor as yourself, these rules, commandments, never really intended to create a religion. They just saw, understood the truth and the clarity of things and explained it in a way. And naturally, of course, they told, be compassionate to one another, love, forgive yourself. Not because they were telling us what to do or trying to control us or giving us rules of life, but it's because they realized, they became aware of this oneness. And in order to be in touch with this unity is by being loving, compassionate, caring, giving. And when things, sort of say, go wrong, people hurt us, that is their karma, that is their path. How you react is yours. And if you react with hatred, with negativity, it just gives poison to your soul. By doing the opposite, being compassionate, merciful, forgiving, is allowing your soul to raise the vibration. So those are the three things I learned. Being more mindful and aware, being able to accept and love myself as who I am, no matter how I feel and think, and becoming more aware, or sort of say understand the truth, the unity of all things even more. And of course, getting in touch more with my intuition. Because once you calm your mind, you purify your heart, you get in touch with more your intuition, with your heart, and that is the key, the doorway to this infinite source of creativity and energy, intelligence, love, and wisdom. So this is coming naturally to me more and more. That's it. That's all I can share for you at the moment. That's all my information, my experience, my wisdom. I'll put all the links in the bio below. I hope this was somehow useful for anybody who's been watching. Thank you for watching. And I just hope it inspires and motivates anybody to learn more about meditation, whether it's Vipassana or not, to search for the truth about all things, the truth about yourself, the truth about things. For, if you find the truth shall set you free. Blessed are they who come with a pure heart, for they will see God, they will see truth. And my message out there is for everybody is to let you know that there is more to life than just the physical world. We are more than just a physical body. We are more than just thoughts and feelings combined together. We're more than just the stories that we tell ourselves of who we are. There's a greater divinity within us that we all yearn for, deep within us. And we can search for it and we can find it. If you search, you will find. Blessed are they who are thirsting righteousness, for they will be filled. If you ask, it will be given. So I hope this motivates you to do it. I am still in my journey. I'm still learning a lot every day. And I'm thankful for all the blessings and the learnings that the universe has brought into my life and all the people. And then, just continue doing this. And it's a beautiful journey. It's an endless, it's infinite, it's constantly happening. It's not just here in this world, but it will continue happening in the next lifetimes or in the next planes of existence, and we continue for eternity doing this learning, this path of growth. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, you're free to contact me. I put the links to my public Facebook page and Instagram, so you can send me a message and I'll try to reply when I can. So thank you very much. I wish you all the best. Lots of love, happiness, kindness, awareness, mindfulness, and consciousness. Namaste.